So Michael Moore went on MSNBC. He's going to talk about Trump versus Kamala and the state of the election, and he has an interesting prediction for us. Let's go.
I honestly think we're going to have one of our largest turnouts ever. I don't think that many people are going to stay home. I certainly hope not, because of everything that's at stake. But this happens every time with Democrats, because Democrats, they're such a frightened group of people. People, they still think that Trump is going to win. This is kind of shocking to me. Like, don't you live with people? Are you not aware that there's going to be a tsunami of women voting between now and Election Day? That they were told 2.5 years ago that they no longer control their own bodies. They no longer have a say. If they get pregnant, an unplanned pregnancy, the law now is that in many of our states that you have to have that baby, and if we have to do whatever we have to do, sort of the legal version of strapping you down to the table until you birth that baby, then so be it. That's the law of the land now. And anybody who thinks that women are going to stay home, that women are going to tolerate this, do you not know any women? Do you not live with a woman? Is there a next door neighbor? Is there somebody you could just go ask them? So what do you think about my gender here? My gender. Nobody can tell me what to do with my body. And maybe some people should. I'm just saying. But seriously.
Okay, but Michael, let me ask you about that. Because, yes, a lot of people, obviously, they live with women. They hear the opinions. They see what women are saying in polls, but they also see what other groups are saying in polls. And Kamala Harris isn't doing as well with some voting blocks as, say, Joe Biden did before, if she wants to be comfortable, right? This appears to be very tied up. So when you look at the polls, when you look at what you're seeing in these all-important states, including Michigan, which you talk a lot about, do you not put credence in those polls that show what is a dead heat here?
I don't think it's a dead heat. I think, and I'm not saying I don't put credence in them, but I'll just go back to the morning of Election Day 2016.
He goes on to make the point that, well, the polls were wrong then. And the implication is the polls are wrong now. But he means it in a different direction. He means everybody was sure Hillary was going to win and she lost. This time everybody's sure it's going to be a dead heat, but they're wrong because Kamala's going to have a landslide. That's kind of what he's saying. He goes on to say, I don't think it's going to be particularly close. That's what he says. So his prediction as of right now is that it's a wrap and Kamala's going to win comfortably. That's his prediction. Now, look, normally I probably wouldn't cover this story, but the reason why we're discussing it is very simple. Michael Moore has been incredibly accurate with all of his recent predictions. So 2016, he said he thought Trump was going to win. 2020, I think he had Biden. But more importantly, so he shocked everybody in 2016 by getting it right. But he was also one of very, very few voices in 2022 that said it is definitely not going to be a red wave. So the reason why this is noteworthy is because he might be the only person who's been right about everyone. Everyone. I think he went, Hillary is going to lose. 2016, he was right. Very few people were saying that. It literally was the poll showed or some of the aggregates said there's a 98% chance or 95% chance or 90% chance Hillary wins. He went, again, Biden, I think he got right. And then the midterms, he was screaming at everybody, you're wrong. There is not going to be a red wave. And if anything, I wish I went further with it because I can only semi-pat myself on the back about the midterms because everybody around me was saying red wave, red wave, red wave. And I didn't agree. And I said I didn't agree. But my take was, I'm agnostic. I don't know what's going to happen, right? I could see a red wave, but also I could definitely not see one because, Roe v. Wade was overturned and 51% of the Republican candidates are election deniers, and we know Americans hate that. So there were all these extenuating circumstances and factors that were it made me agnostic. But I almost wish I had the balls to come out and say, no, I don't. It's not going to be a red wave. Sorry. I didn't have the balls to go that far. I was more right than most, but I wasn't as right as Michael Moore. Right? And so here he is, and he's saying it's not going to be particularly close. Kamala's going to win. It's a wrap. That's what he's saying. I think it's going to be close. I mean, I think it's going to be close. There was a moment there. There were a number of moments where I was thinking, oh yeah, she's going to run away with it. She's going to run away with it. But as always happens in campaigns, there are ebbs and flows. There are ups and downs. There are good strategies and bad strategies. And, you know, somebody like me who follows all of it, I start to microanalyze and micromanage it and say, this is right and this is wrong and this might have a bad effect, et cetera, et cetera. And so where I sit at the moment, I'm very concerned that she's going to repeat some of the same Hillary 2016 mistakes. I'm very concerned about the former Biden dead-ender staffers who are now controlling her campaign. They literally dropped some of their most effective messaging. They dropped "we're not going back." They dropped calling Republicans weird. Those things were absolute hits. It was just an objective fact. People were loving that shit. It was working tremendously, right? I don't like the whole, we're going to go campaign with Liz Cheney and thank Dick Cheney for his service to the country. And I don't like going on The View and saying there's nothing I would have done differently from Biden. Actually, wait, there's one thing. I'd put a Republican close to me in my cabinet. Like, that's just not, I don't think that's good politics. And she's been listening to Hillary, talking to Hillary. She's taking clearly some advice from Hillary. We don't know how much. Hopefully she draws the line and doesn't take too much. But that's what's starting to worry me, right? The silver lining for her, though, the saving grace is this, and I know Michael Moore knows this too better than anybody, is that Trump's campaign of 2024 is hideously stupid and horrible compared to Trump's 2016 campaign. So in a sense, it gives Kamala more leeway, where she doesn't have to run a great campaign. She could just run like a mildly decent campaign and win, because there is no more populism or fake populism from Donald Trump. No more anti-war shit from Donald Trump or fake anti-war shit. No more, focusing on economic stuff that could win over working class voters. He's on the debate stage repeating literal neo-Nazi lies from a group called Blood Tribe, where they said that Haitians are eating cats and dogs and pets. Like, he's a joke. Trump has become a joke. He totally lost his touch. He totally lost his magic. So that is the saving grace for Kamala Harris, for sure. How bad Trump is and how bad his campaign is, right? But if she could just not make these like Hillary 2016 style mistakes, then I'd feel comfortable and confident. And right now I'm just not. I'm not comfortable. I'm not confident. There was a time where there was a time I thought she was going to run away. Now I feel like it's a fucking dead heat, man. I mean, look, I'm fine with saying 55 or 60% chance Kamala right now, but I'm certainly not comfortable saying more than that. And the trajectory does not look great. The trajectory looks like come election day, it'll be 50-50. It'll be a coin flip. And I haven't even mentioned war in the Middle East with Iran, which Biden is going to come trotting into Netanyahu's defense and do a war with Iran. Like, if that happens, you're not going to see a rally around the flag effect. It's not going to happen. Because there wasn't the propaganda buildup like there was with Iraq, for example, or Afghanistan, where we were just attacked. And it was like, oh, we got to make sure we get revenge, bro. No, this is, everybody knows, Israel's an unhinged freak bombing everybody in the region. And everybody knows if we trot in there, we're fighting Israel's war for them against Iran, and Israel was the one that started all the shit, right? So people know that. So they're not going to rally around the flag. They're going to say, no, I'm not sending my kids to go fight and die for Benjamin Netanyahu, an insane, bloodthirsty neocon warmonger who's been wrong about everything, every step of the way. So anyway, there you have it. Curious what you guys think. Michael Moore's gotten everything right in recent elections. He just has. It's just a fact. He just has. But on this one, I'm not as confident as he is that it's going to be a Kamala landslide. It's possible, but it ain't a guarantee, and I think he's making the call a little too early. So what do you guys think? Put it below. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.